ever met someone and thought to yourself, man, I could spend the rest of my life with this person? Then, as you get to know them over a few years, or maybe it's only been a few months, but the challenges you face start tearing you guys apart. They call these growing pains, but when does the pain stop and why does it feel like you're shrinking instead? Are you wondering where you and your partner went wrong? Here are 10 common relationship mistakes. 1. You take your partner for granted. Psychologist Susan Whitburn says it's too easy to dismiss the people you're closest to because you expect them to be there no matter what. Although it's great that you trust your partner to stick around on the bad days, it doesn't mean you have to force them to sync with you each time. In the long run, selfish behavior only resorts to resentment. 2. You overstep your partner's boundaries. No one's perfect, not even your soulmate. So when you don't leave room in your relationship to show your flaws, it can easily lead to relationship dissatisfaction. Professor Lee from the University of Toronto, shout out to our Canadians, discovered that people who view relationships as a perfect unity have worse relationships than those who see it as a journey of growing. 3. You play the assumption game. Have you ever been upset because someone jumped to the wrong conclusion? Dating and relationship coach Brooke Bergman said this happens all the time in relationships when we assume we know what our partners need. But sometimes, not knowing can be humbling and asking never hurts. 4. You and your partner avoid conflict. There's a difference between a happy relationship and being happy every day. And more often than not, establishing a healthy, fulfilling relationship includes fighting. 5. You obsess and fight over everything. On the other hand, if you swing too extreme and get mad over the small details, this can also be bad for the relationship. Before reacting, take a step back and consider whether your partner's actions are true deal breakers. 6. Your happiness depends too much on being with your partner. Asking for help is good when you're being honest about your needs. But if you need to consult your partner before making every decision, you'll forget to be your own person. 7. You constantly question your relationship. Do you think about what problems your relationship will face before they actually occur? Constantly ruminating will only bring you to a dark place when you could be using that time instead to talk things out with your partner. 8. You keep score in your relationship. Psychology professor and relationship expert Marissa Cohen sees this one happen a lot. When you obsess over keeping things equal with your partner, whether it means exchanging gifts or doing favors, you no longer focus on the relationship. Instead, it's about you. 9. You stop being kind to each other. Based on his studies, psychologist John Gottman can predict with up to 94% certainty which couples will be either broken up or still happy and together many years down the road. It all comes down to one factor: kindness. The minute you show contempt for your partner, the less likely you already are to work things out. 10. You feel hopeless and give up on the relationship too soon. Social media often shows you the sweet side of relationships, the hand-holding, adorable pecks on the cheek, and the anniversary celebrated. But behind the scenes, it takes hard work and commitment to keep the flame living. When you give up too soon, when the going gets tough, you also miss out on building resilience together.
Love can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it makes us feel more alive than we ever thought possible. And It's also much more common than people realize, especially among women. A large amount of abuse experienced by women goes unreported. It's estimated that between 18 and 36% of women have experienced some form of relationship abuse in their lifetimes, and predictably, relationship abuse is one of the most common causes of depression. This abuse can be physical, emotional, or psychological. Regardless of what form, you should look to loved ones outside of your relationship for support. Remember to appreciate your time and not rely on your partner for a stronger sense of self-worth. 5. A total lack of communication. Lack of communication is one of the most common reasons for failed relationships. And if you can't communicate with your partner, you might start to feel depressive symptoms as a result. Interestingly enough, a recent study showed that poor social skills and depression are linked. No matter which partner lacks communication skills, the relationship will likely suffer as a result, causing depression for one or both partners. 6. Your relationship has evolved and your needs have changed. Relationships are filled with magical moments, mostly during the honeymoon phase, and we often wish these moments could last forever. However, people change and partners become comfortable. As the years go by, you might find yourself in a relationship with a completely different person. Your partner may have different needs, different priorities, and different expectations. This type of evolution in relationships isn't just inevitable, it's healthy. Problems only arise when our partners can't meet our changing expectations. If you begin to grow apart from your partner, that's okay. Just because they seemed like a great match in the past doesn't mean that we should hold on to someone who aligned with our past values. 7. You feel like you're stuck in the relationship even though you know it's not working out. Okay, so your relationship is making you depressed. So why don't you leave? Over the years, researchers have tried to figure out why people stay in unsatisfying relationships, and they've come up with some interesting theories. Early studies claimed that couples stayed together because they thought that they couldn't find anyone better, or that they were afraid of the uncertainty of separation. But modern researchers believe that it's much more personal. One new study suggested that people might stay together because their partner is extremely devoted or out of concern for each other's welfare. If your partner is saying concerning things such as, "I can't live without you," or "You're the only good thing in my life," it can put a lot of pressure on you to keep them happy. This shouldn't make you feel like you have to accept certain behaviors and mistreatment if you're experiencing it. Have you experienced any of these relationship issues? If so, have they led to depression? Let us know in the comments below.